and welcome to another episode of Heart-Centered Marriage. If you are new to our YouTube channel, hi and welcome. I am Dr. Shalita Mira. I am a psychologist, a licensed clinical social worker, and a pastor. And I specialize in all things mental wellness and marriage. I am a heart-centered specialist, and I thank you for joining me today as we help grow heart-centered, healthy relationships. You can help me create healthy marriages all over the world. And you can do that simply by taking a moment and hitting the like button and also subscribing to our YouTube channel, where each week we release 2 videos. We release mental health moments on Mondays and heart-centered marriages on Saturdays. It is our goal to provide tools and strategies to equip couples all around the world to grow together, to demonstrate the fruit and the beauty of marriage the way God originally designed for it to be. We all know that marriage is a journey. And on this journey, we must remember that it takes commitment and intention to overcome the many barriers that manifest and the conflicts that need resolution. We also know that over time, relationships tend to get a little stale and boring if we do not find ways on purpose to keep it fresh. Minor issues can become major issues. And that means that we need to hold space for our spouse by giving each other new pleasures from time to time. So we are continuing our series on healthy relationships. And today we are focusing on the attribute of holding space for one another. And in this section, we will explore some strategies for creating a safe space for our mates. Holding space for one another is about permission. It's about love. It grants a safe space to express feelings and emotions without judgment, practicing grace and mercy and forgiveness. Holding space for one another is about service and sacrifice. I want you to jot down these 4 S's. Service and sacrifice through sharing and showing. The concept of being intentional about service and sacrifice, sharing and showing is called reciprocal reinforcement. When we practice reciprocal reinforcement, we are giving on purpose to our spouse more of what they like. Reciprocal reinforcement is not the concept of reciprocity as we would think in its normal sense, where we match energy for energy or attitude for attitude or mood for mood, right? But with reciprocal reinforcement, we are giving from a place of sacrifice on purpose, and the motive is none other than love. So you may be wondering, Dr. Mira, how do we use this reciprocal reinforcement? What are some strategies or tips so that I can, on purpose, let my spouse know not only how much I love them, but also how much I appreciate them? How can I positively reshape my behavior through the genuine exchange of pleasurable rewards? This is what we're going to do. Here are 4 steps to reciprocal reinforcement. So step 1 is to make a pleasures list. During this step, you want to intentionally give attention to what makes your spouse feel pleasure. Not what makes you feel pleasure, but what makes your spouse feel pleasure. You want to observe your spouse and make a list of all of these pleasers so that you can then move to step 2, which is grounded in serving your spouse. Just a few notes here though. Consider your spouse's love language, and we're going to talk about this topic in a later video. But I want you to omit any items that have been areas of serious conflict for you, such as money or the purchase of expensive gifts. The ideal pleaser should be an act of service to your spouse or should cost you minimal or nothing at all, like a kiss or an expression of appreciation or thanks. Do not indulge in anything on the list that you are not willing to do. And once you have developed a good list, review that list, but do not share it with your spouse. Unexpected acts of service and love are doubly satisfying. So step number 2 is serving your spouse. So I want you to take that list of pleasers, and I want you to choose 3 or 4 of those pleasers to implement over the next week. Remember, I want you to choose to serve your mate on purpose. Try to pick out some things that maybe you have not done in a while. Maybe it has been 6 months since you gave your spouse a kiss on the cheek, or maybe it's been a month since you cooked dinner. Try to find something that can be new, exciting, or even fresh. And I want you to give that. I want you to serve your spouse. And I want you to keep a record of your acts of service, but do not keep score. I want to say that one more time. I want you to keep a record of your acts of service, but do not keep score. I need you to remember the motive of why we're completing this particular exercise. The motive is to express our love and our appreciation to our spouse, not to manipulate our spouse into getting those things that we want. Step number 3 is honest feedback. So at the end of the week, I want you and your spouse to have some intimate sharing time where you can engage in dialogue with your spouse and get their honest feedback about your acts of services that were given during the week. I want you to create a safe space for your spouse to be able to share exactly how they felt about the pleasers that you demonstrated. Because it's from this dialogue that we are going to learn what our spouses really appreciate. Whether the things we put on the list are things our spouse really appreciates, or if it's something that we really appreciate. And how we can continue to grow in our acts of service and love and respect toward our spouse. And the last step is based on the pleasers list, and our discussion with our spouse is to develop contracts. Ultimately, our goal is to increase actions, attitudes, and acts of service in our marriage that we all find pleasurable and rewarding, and to reciprocate those often, daily even, and also to create a list of those things that don't honor our marriages, those things that trigger conflict, those non-negotiables. When we can develop those healthy contracts, then we show up in our marriages knowing what honors our spouse and what dishonors our spouse. And the goal is not that our marriages are going to be perfect, and not that we're not going to have moments of disagreement, but those moments of conflict and disagreement become less and less, simply because we've developed a heart contract to love, honor, respect, and hold space for our spouse, and not dishonor, disrespect, or dismiss our spouses. So ultimately, it's about creating a life contract. Many of us married for the long haul till death do us part, right? That's a heart-centered journey. And so we want to create contracts that will last for the longevity of our marriages. Contracts that honor, not contracts to be broken. It is my hope that this week's video on holding space for your spouse under our Attributes of Healthy Marriages series has given you some tools, tips, and strategies to grow and glow in your heart-centered marriage. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. And also, if you will go over to my website, www.theheartcenteredjourney.com, or you'll find it linked in the description box below. You will be able to download this week's mini workbook on holding space for your spouse and the tools and strategies that we discussed in today's mini session on reciprocal reinforcers. It is my prayer that you have a beautiful day today. But remember, life is a journey of the heart. And you've been given a gift, and that gift is the gift of choice. Today, choose love. Be blessed.